Tradon, I gotta ask. The Oilers lost. Are you like Tyler, where you throw things across the room, or do you sulk and then get over it?
Well, so this one's different. I mean, I think usually when your team loses, you're definitely in sad mode. I have no sadness in my bones at all. I am 120,000% pissed off at the Edmonton Oilers. And they deserve to not play. They deserve to not be here, as far as I'm concerned. Coaching issues, no defense. They lost 5-on-5 completely. Yeah, Connor McDavid had a stellar series. So he kind of broke away from that mantra that he can't play in the playoffs because he can. But everyone else just broke down and all around him, and it just was a shit show. I still go back to the first game, and I think that's still the deal.
Yeah. Well, speaking of hockey, Tradon, we're going to start with you.
Yes, sir.
Get into it. Talk about that 5 OT game. Talk about whatever you feel like.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so obviously we have the quarterfinals, round one going on right now. And I'll jump right into the first game of the day, which ended up not being the last game. Like it finished after the second game of the day started. That is the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Guys, game one. I mean, talk to me about what you guys thought about game one. 5 overtimes, the 4th longest game in NHL history, the 2nd longest in the modern era. What do you guys think about that?
That was crazy. I was listening to it on my drive back. I was working in Chula Vista today. It was about an hour, and I think it was this maybe halfway through the 3rd overtime. And I thought for sure by the time I'll get home, it would be over. I got home, and it was like towards the end of the 4th overtime. I took a shower, and I thought for sure by the time I got out of the shower, it'd be over. And it was still on. And I'm like, holy fuck. And I ended up watching the 5th overtime period, and that was crazy. I mean, it kind of gave me flashbacks of that 2018 World Series Game 3 where it went 18 innings. Just this like long drawn out game, and just the tension builds and builds and builds. You're almost just like, can someone just please win it? But it was a great game. I mean, the goaltending was off the charts in that game. Outstanding performances on both sides.
Eric, I mean, what do you think about this? 88 shots for the Lightning, 63 shots for the Blue Jackets. That's, Vasilevsky saving 61 shots. Korpisalo is saving 85 for an NHL record, mind you. I mean, guys, or Eric, what do you think about it? Like, what do you think? What was your take on it?
It was fucking nuts. The Blue Jackets had their rough and tough standard go around that they've been doing these past few years in the playoffs. The Lightning, though, they kind of proved me wrong. They were pretty tough out there. They had most of the chances, I'd say, like from the 3rd period on. In the next 7 periods after that, they had a lot more of the chances going. They were pretty much controlling the puck possession. The Blue Jackets were getting more of those 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, but they couldn't capitalize. They just all were so tired in the end. I think the Blue Jackets didn't have their feet under them as much, maybe because, 2 days ago, they had to play the Maple Leafs in that Game 5. Right. So maybe that played a role into it. I still think the Blue Jackets are going to probably come out on top of this series. If we know anything with Tortorella, they're going to bounce back. They're not going to let their mental get in the way, but it was just overall an intense game. My friend, he's a Stars fan. He couldn't even watch the Stars-Flames game because this whole game was on NBC the whole time.
Right. Alex, I mean, there's kind of been a narrative, that those types of games are obviously very emotional. You're playing for 2.5 games in one day. Losing that game, do you think that it derails the Blue Jackets?
A little bit. I mean, if you saw Seth Jones's face at the end of that, he played 65 minutes or some like stupid number. He looked pretty defeated. I'm not going to lie, which is a bummer because he's one of the young budding stars of this NHL. And I think if anything, it's more impressive for the Lightning, who are known for their skills and maybe not their like rough, tough kind of play like the Blue Jackets typically do. But the Lightning held up this whole time. I don't know. If you're a Blue Jackets fan, I've got to be worried. It's a lot of minutes. It's a lot of ice time. I think we had this series going 6 or 7 games. So
yeah, we did.
It's got to be you got to just get it to turn around. Do what you got to do. They're obviously going to sleep good tonight either way, and just come back on Thursday and see what happens.
James, you told me earlier that you saw a lot of that game. Have you ever seen anything like that as a relatively new hockey fan?
No, dude, that was a grinder of a game, man. It was just back and forth. There was very little stoppages. Like, I'm surprised that, like you said, Seth Jones, 65 minutes. That's ridiculous. Like, he's gonna have to. Are they gonna practice tomorrow? I doubt it. They might do like a light skate around or something. But dude, they needed a break. It was a hell of a game, grinder of a game. Like Tyler said, goaltending was absolutely off the charts, and it was different to watch for sure because they're used to a 3-period, 60-minute game. Maybe a little bit over, but five overtimes. Oh my god, ridiculous!
It was pretty ridiculous. And my take is the Blue Jackets. At the end of the day, regardless of how many minutes the game was, it was only game one. So the Blue Jackets really are at a crossroads here. I'm worried because I actually have the Columbus Blue Jackets winning the Stanley Cup. To be honest, I'm taking a whim here in my bracket, and we as a team here have been going through after 7 games, so they're really going to have to fight hard for it. And having an emotional loss like that, they really need to let it go. It's behind you. It's 1 game and move on. But anybody else have anything to say about that series?
You think it's worse losing that 3-0 lead game that they lost to the Leafs with like 4 minutes left in the game, or losing this one?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'll tell you right now, I would probably lean on this type of game because the Tampa Bay Lightning are considered probably on paper, probably the best team in the league, roster-wise. And to take them to that long and your goalie is putting up amazing saves, amazing numbers. You guys have put on over 60 shots. There's not a game that I could say that I've ever played that, oh yeah, I had 60 shots and I lost. Like, that doesn't happen, boys. So it's emotional. Giving up 3-goal leads happens. This is the type of thing that doesn't usually happen. I mean, big time. And it's emotional. So that's what I would lean on, but I'm a minority in that. Moving on, let's look at the rest of the East. We got Philly in 5 over the Montreal Canadiens. In my bracket, I have the same thing. What do you guys have anything to say about this one, or is this pretty much a lock and seal?
I have Canadians in 7, and I'm the only one out of all of us who have that. I'm going to go with momentum here, and the fact that the Canadians are huge underdogs, so there's zero expectation. Like, they have nothing that they got to play for right now. Like, they're going to go all out and do their thing. Yeah. And right now they got the momentum to do so. They took down a big team last series for the play-in round, and now they go on against the Flyers, currently ranked number 1. But if Carey Price plays the way he had like a 974 or 947 save percentage last series. That's ridiculous. Right. If he plays just like that again, it gives the Habs a chance. And I think that the momentum is going to swing their direction. But I think it's going to take 7 games if it's going to happen.
Yeah. I'll say one thing about this series. Philadelphia was by far the best team in the round robin. They were unbelievable. Like, they were already unbelievable before COVID, and then they just picked up right where they left off and even went above and beyond. I will say, if Philadelphia plays down to their opponent, I think that you'll see the Canadians win. Philadelphia is a better team than Montreal, and those types of teams can, as we saw with the Oilers, play down or below their opponent's level, and you might see an upset. So, and especially in playoff hockey. So I don't think that's a crazy analysis there. Washington Capitals over the New York Islanders. We have Washington in 6. Tyler, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I just really I think we kind of alluded to in previous podcasts, the Islanders are not the most exciting team to watch play hockey, but they are a very solidly, fundamentally sound team. Washington, Alex Ovechkin, on the other hand, a very exciting team to watch. They won the Cup 2 years ago. I think that they're going to handle the Islanders here. I just think with the playoff experience, I think the Caps just have the upper hand on this one.
Does coaching come into play here? And the reason I say that is because Barry Trotz is the coach of the Islanders. He coached the Capitals to their cup. He knows the Capitals organization probably better than anyone right now. And he's been known to out-coach in the playoffs. Alex, does that play a role here?
Oh, 100% it does. I think that's why we'll still have to give the Islanders a little bit of love. I had it going 6 games, but that was one that I had a lot of trouble with. I was really close on picking the Islanders, but I think with what kind of Tyler was talking about with the experience, you got to give that to the Caps. They looked okay in the round robin. They were nothing like the Flyers, who are my pick to actually win the Cup this year. So it does, and I think that's why I gave them 2 games. I could see this going 7, and I kind of feel like there's going to be a lot of games that are like 4-3, 3-2, and then one where the Capitals just blow it up, and it'll be 7-1 or some stupid number. It'll be like, but they're all. I think it's going to be a really close series, but I'm just leaning on the experience of the Capitals.
Makes sense. James or Eric, you have anything to say before I move on? Add on that.
I want to talk to Tyler's comment about how the Capitals. He said that they're just gonna kind of. They won 2 years ago, so they should win again, kind of thing. But did you watch round robin play, man? Like, they scored 5 goals in 3 games, and this is an offense that used to average 4 goals a game. And that's not looking good for them, man. Their offense needs to wake up if they want any sort of chance to play against the Islanders.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, but I think with round robin, it's just round robin. I think you add the playoff intensity where there's a chance to go home. That's going to raise up their intensity and their level of play. That's what I'm banking on.
It doesn't matter that the Flyers. You all said the Flyers looked amazing in the round robin, so that doesn't mean anything.
I had
because it's round robin play.
Flyers in 6. I do think that the Canadians with Carey Price, I think that momentum's going to play through, but I just think the Flyers are just too good.
Hey, I've been back and forth myself on the whole round robin thing. We've seen teams on both sides of the conferences underachieve and some overachieve, as in the Flyers. So I don't know. The round robins were a little bit lackluster for me. I didn't really engage with them as much as I did the qualifiers, but it gave momentum to some teams. So we'll have to see. Moving on, the last series to talk about, we have Boston over Carolina in 7, and I'm actually not the consensus on this one. So Eric, what's your take on this one?
I got Canes in 7.
Yeah,
I think we're the only Canes lovers here.
Yeah, not just the chicken
not raising
strips,
Canes,
but the Hurricanes. Last year they got swept by the Bruins in the Eastern Conference Finals, so there's something that's a chip on the shoulder for them. Svechnikov, Slavin, even their goalies, Mrazek. I don't think Reimer's going to do much. Mrazek should hopefully be able to stand on his head. We go back to the round robin play. The Bruins looked horrendous in the round robin play. I don't know if that's going to take any part, but the Canes just seem like they're clicking right now. And we always go back to it. The LA Kings, when they won their 2 cups, they were clicking. And I kind of see that with the Canes right now. They're snapping the puck around. The power play is getting the job done. Their first game, they were 7 for 7 on the penalty kill. That's going to win you games in the playoffs, especially against a gritty team like the Bruins. I got Canes in 7.
Hey, I think that going back to a prior discussion, I think coaching takes a lot here, and that's why I have the Hurricanes going. Bruce Cassidy is an amazing coach, but he's given like one of the greatest lineups in NHL history. On the other side, Rob Brind'Amour definitely walked his Hurricanes to a Stanley Cup in 2005, 2006 against a team that means a lot to my heart, and that was heartbreaking. And his team plays for him. It's clear, and they play like him. And I love him, and I think that his team is kind of stepping up for each other, and I think that they're going to get it done. But we're not the majority here. Tyler, be the speaker of the Boston Bruins, please.
Yeah, I picked the Bruins to win the cup.
Same here, man.
So
we'll have that discussion at the end. I'm going to go through everybody's pick.
Yeah, I think during the regular season, before this whole COVID stuff happening, they look like probably the best team in the league, in my opinion. Obviously, like there's a huge break in between. You know, the round robin, they finished fourth, right? So, and that'll be interesting to see like how much of the round robin play is going to factor into these first round series. But for me, like I'm going with that lineup that the Bruins have. I just think that they're one of the best overall teams in hockey. But this was a hard one for me to pick. I think you guys have really good points about the Hurricanes. I do think that they are clicking very well right now. This could be an upset, but I just kind of went with my gut here. I just think the Bruins are the best team in this tournament. So that's why I went Bruins.
James, Alex, anything to add before we move on?
I think Boston will definitely need a wake-up call. So they're going to lose that first game that actually matters. And that will kind of give them a shot in the arm and have them motivated to kind of win the rest. They're not going to – I'm winning in 7 just because the first round they got to knock the rest off for a game that actually matters. Right. But I haven't taken the cup.
All right.
Probably a dumb question. Is it too late to enter that bracket? Because I never did enter into that.
Yeah, it's a little late for that. Alex, anything else?
We did last right now, Tradon.
I had the Bruins in 7. I had a really, really tough time with this one because I typically do go with the hot hand. And the Bruins are the President's Trophy winner, which means they won't win because that's how it works in hockey. So
it works in hockey.
Tyler and James, you're fucking morons.
You are right about that.
I am.
Watch it happen this year.
It's going to change this year.
COVID year.
2020. Things are weird this year. 2020. You never know.
Things are weird. I am now, especially now that their game got pushed back a day. Carolina hasn't played in a while now because they swept their qualifying against the Rangers. So it's going to be one of the same thing. Either they're rested or they're rusty. So yeah, I had a really tough time with this one, but I went with the Bruins in 7. I do think they are the better team, which is why I picked them to go in 7. But I have them losing the Flyers in the next round anyway. So
solid. Well, before we move on, I'm just going to say Svechnikov and Aho are playing absolutely out of their minds, and your perfection line has 1 point to their name. But we'll move on. Okay, we got the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah. So here's the deal, boys. Chicago came to play. That's all I can say. They're playing right now, and it seems like it's a pretty close game. Vegas had a pretty good round robin, and Vegas is always just solid. I know that many of you guys in here hate Vegas, and I understand that. But what do you guys think? Quickly, I think this is a pretty sealed deal in my opinion. We have Knights in 5, so.
I got Blackhawks in 7. I just, going off what you said, they came to play. They look a little scary. They got the guys who've done it 3 times. It's going to be a battle every game. It's still 0-0. I think Vegas thinks this is going to be an easy series, just like the Oilers did, and look what happened. So that's all I got to say is the Hawks are kind of riding the hot hand right now. I hate them both. I fucking hate them both. I hope they both get eliminated. But I hope Vegas gets eliminated first, then the Blackhawks get eliminated.
All right. Well, moving on to speed this up. We got Colorado in 6 over the Coyotes. Alex, what do you have to say about this one?
Colorado's nasty.
They are.
I think Nathan McKinnon is probably a top 3 player in the league right now. I think they're very deep. They're fast. They're strong. I have them coming out of the West. I had to give Arizona a little love because they looked pretty good in that qualifying round, which is why I picked Colorado in 6 to give Arizona a little bit of love. But I can't imagine Arizona winning 4 games against a team as deep as the Avs.
I agree with you there. We have the next series. We have Dallas over the Flames in 7. James, what do you think about this one?
I have this Dallas winning in 7. I mean, they look rusty in the round robin. They didn't look good at all. And then Cam Talbot for the Flames is doing really well. I know you hated him when he played for the Oilers, but like right now he's carrying that team.
Stellar.
And Johnny Gaudreau showing up right now. It's ridiculous. That's why I said Stars in 7. I think it's going to be a tough one to predict overall. It's going to be hard fought. It's going to be gritty. But I have the Flames coming out, or the Stars coming out on top.
Wait, does today's game change that? Flames winning 1? Do you think?
No.
Except Bishop is hurt, so that's one thing I didn't know, and that is not going to be good for the Stars if he doesn't play.
No, the Flames are kind of rolling right now, and it's kind of scary as an Oiler fan because we all hate the Flames. I do have them myself moving on, so I'm kind of different than you guys, but that's why we're here. So, Tyler, we have Vancouver over the St. Louis Blues in 6. Where's the love for the Blues, boys?
Moron.
You know, this was one that I think the Blues are the better team here, but I think the Vancouver Canucks are the closest thing I have to the Kings in this tournament. Got 2 of my former favorite guys, Toffoli and Pearson, on that team. I just think kind of the way they play, their style of play kind of reminds me of the Kings a little bit. And it's also very hard to win back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was one that I kind of just went out on a limb about. I'm not very confident with picking Vancouver, but I just kind of wanted to pick something. I don't want to pick every favorite in the West because there's going to be an upset somewhere. So that's just where I picked it.
I personally have the Blues. I don't think it's going to be a contest, to be honest. I think that the Blues really sat on their ass in the round robin. Jordan Bennington is incredible. Ryan O'Reilly is up for a Selke again this year. Those guys are just this team is solid, and I think that they're going to move on all the way to the conference finals. But let's go around the horn here. To finish up, Tyler, who do you have winning the Stanley Cup in 2020 and why?
I have the Bruins over the Avalanche in 7 games. Like you said, President's Trophy winners. I think they're just the best overall team in hockey, like I mentioned. And we're going to see a President's Trophy winner win it this year, finally, for the first time in I don't even know how long.
Eric, who do you got?
I got Canes over the Avalanche, Game 7.
Wow.
Avalanche are going to make it. They deserve to be there. Like Alex said, Nate McKinnon is going to get the job done. He's going to bring them to the Cup finals. Canes have that spark. They look like the Kings to me, and they're all believing in the system and the coach. I got the Canes in 7.
And James?
I got Boston over Vegas in 7. And just because Boston's going to win, that's how it's going to work.
Okay, fair enough. And Alex?
I have the Flyers over the Avs in 6.
And why?
I think the Flyers look nasty. I think they're incredibly deep. I know we just already talked about this, but in that round robin, they looked like the class of the Eastern Conference. They just looked unbelievable. So I'm picking the Flyers.
Fair enough. My pick is out of left field. I have the Columbus Blue Jackets winning this 2020 Stanley Cup over the Vegas Golden Knights. Here's the reason. John Tortorella is going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's one of the greatest coaches. He is the greatest American coach to ever grace this earth, and he's arguably one of the best in the league right now. He doesn't take shit. They also kept the Toronto Maple Leafs $40 million players off the score sheet 5-on-5 for 8 fucking periods straight. Sorry that no one just does that. I think that Columbus has a chip on their shoulder. They're playing from the heart. They are an underdog. But it was a toss-up between them and Carolina going into the Stanley Cup final. But that is what I believe will happen, or what I'd like to happen. I'm on that bandwagon. Choo-choo. Here we go, boys. Also, they are a reflection of how the Edmonton Oilers should look. So take notes, boys. And that is my segment. Next week we'll be recapping the games and seeing where the series are at. Hopefully we'll see some teams move on, and hopefully we'll see some long series. Buckle up.